course, welcome to EastEnders Weekly, your weekly podcast where we discuss all things EastEnders. And we are possibly in mourning once more. Not for a death of a character, but for a relationship.
Oh no. Oh dear.
I've got my morning knickers on and my tights on.
Your morning knickers. You rarely show off your morning knickers. Only a select few gets to see your morning
That's
knickers.
right. I was mourning when Gray came out as an evil man.
Mm-hmm.
I mourned at Mel's death.
You mourned when Mitch was right about Gray being evil.
And now Ballum are over. That's it.
Abby's death.
Yes, but Ballum, they're ended.
But they're not. No, we don't know. Ben. Well, we'll talk about this later on the show. I'm gonna have T-shirts made saying that because you always jump the gun very quickly about.
There's a little tease for everyone.
Stories and this ilk. But I don't think they're broken up yet, are they?
They are broken up. Just depends how long.
But forever. I don't think it's forever. He's got a wallet to give over. He's got presents. It's Christmas.
Well, if they weren't broken up before, when he gets that wallet, they definitely will be broken up.
No, of course he won't, because he's got a picture of him and Lexi in it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Not him and Callum.
No. Do you reckon he's going to drop that on the ground and you're just going to see the wind blow it open and you'll just see the picture just open up inside
a tear will drop on it.
Yeah. And then it'll be rain and then it'll be snow. Because it always snows on Albert Square, doesn't it, at Christmas? We're normally used
quite a few years,
Like, it never snows in the United Kingdom at Christmas very often at all anymore. If it snows once, I think, on the top of the Met Office Tower, I think that's classified as a white Christmas in the UK.
Very rare.
But never Albert Square. I mean, the whole of the country could be flooded or torrential rain, but Albert Square always seems to get that white stuff. The white stuff that everyone wants.
And it's been an explosive week. Obviously, we're building up to Christmas now, so it's all been kicking off this week. Have you got a favourite storyline of the week?
Oh, well, again,
moment?
I think you should just hold your horses, Ben. Reel yourself in and wait till we get to the end of the show when we'll be doing Who Won the Week, and then we can start giving our opinions. And of course, we'll be talking and reading out your comments from Twitter, Instagram, and our Facebook accounts.
Okay, fine. Well, let's get on with it then, because we are discussing the episodes between the 16th and the 20th of December. And you've said my name already, Ben.
We'll say my name then. Say my name.
And you are Callum. No.
You wish I was Callum.
You are Alex,
the
co-host.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're starting off with the Carters, I think, this week.
Yeah, they're putting on their own nativity.
Yeah, running out of vodka somehow.
Which she had to change the bottle this week.
Is it Shirley or is it Linda or Tina?
We haven't seen much sight of Shirley, and Tina was too busy dressing up as a sheep. So I think Tina's busy as well.
That's
so
true.
There's only one culprit for the vodka drinker, the secret vodka drinker.
And we had like the annual community festive storyline. Last year we had the choir, which went on for too long.
Well, it went on till Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it went on for a long time. And but this one, I guess, is just a little short one this week of them creating their own nativity within like a day, was it? Or 2 days?
It was one day. It was over a day. And they only had the script. They only finalised the script after Bailey had gotten her solicitor onto it. Mr. Gray himself.
Of course. He's not very busy this time of year, is he? So.
No one's suing anyone at Christmas, are they? No one...
January.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's when the divorces
come in. Yeah. Isn't that the highest rate of divorce? It's like there's a certain date, like the first week of January, because you kind of put on the premise that you're happy with one another.
That's when the Mitchells were getting divorced.
Well, if Sharon survives that long, of
true.
course. Yeah, Bailey had written a script, or it was very coincidental that Bailey had been writing a story for school about polar bears and Santa Claus and climate change.
Because of her recycling that's been going on.
Yeah.
For a while. And we had the dodgy relationship between Mick and Mitch, which I still tune out of when I see them on screen.
They're BFFs. They're writing scripts, plagiarising quite often, and Mitch can't think of any original ideas of his own, so he just copies ideas from other people. But then accuses Mick for doing the same thing because he downloads a script from the internet. I mean, I don't really know who they think is going to end up watching this play, like the actual writer of the script from the internet, so he can come in and find Gray and say, I'm plagiarised.
Just a principle of it, I guess. Maybe Bailey would like email the person if she knew.
I don't think so. I don't think Bailey would be that evil because she knew. Well, no, of course not, because the play was all about getting Ollie a centre stage role, which again didn't really happen because everyone had an equal role on that
that's
stage.
True, but it wasn't an inn.
Well, it wasn't the nativity.
No.
It's he played an animal though. They all played different animals, and it was very much a inclusive play because lots of learning difficulties included. Because Bailey does that big speech at the beginning saying, everyone is included, everyone's allowed to be in this play. We're not going to leave anyone out, despite what may be considered by civilized, despite being considered by some as a problem. It's not that everyone's invited to be in this play.
I mean, it was a problem for the mummies of the school because they told Mick, "No, I don't really want to go."
Well,
Linda.
The problem was Linda. Yeah, this time Linda was the problem.
She's not fun to be around.
Well, it's not that. It's that she's drinking too much, and that they just have a problem with her drinking too much, and they don't want to. They don't like being embarrassed by her. But it's really their fault for why she's the way she is. So maybe they need to step up and take some of the blame for themselves.
I really enjoyed the scene with Mick and Sharon in the cafe because we rarely get like quiet, calm scenes with Sharon anymore. And Mick and her were talking about like Angie was mentioned and Phil's alcoholism and how they used to run a pub. And he was saying that he was a bit concerned about Linda. It was nice to get that little thing of Sharon like, oh no, but they're alcoholics. Linda's not.
Sharon has quite the case history about having alcoholics
herself as well.
Dependent on them. Well, to be fair to Sharon, she's really shown some restraint for not, drinking during her pregnancy. She, when the beginning of her pregnancy, she came very close to drinking the wine.
But now she smashed that bottle of wine outside. Yeah,
resiliently. She was like, "Whoa, I'm not pregnant. No, I can't be pregnant." But she's been on the orange juice. She handed over a lemonade to Linda. Linda's first reaction was like, "Ugh,
what's this? It tastes gross.
It tastes disgusting.
Can't be mine.
It tastes like lemonade. I want straight pure vodka."
Because Mick asked Sharon, "Oh, can you just keep an eye on Linda because you're her best mate, her only mate?" So she said, "Yeah, sure. It's not. I doubt it's a problem, but I'll keep look." And she bought her like a non-alcoholic drink and gave her like a few words of wisdom about being nicer to her husband and maybe spend time with Mick rather than have a fun time drinking.
Yeah,
which kind of went on deaf ears.
Well, yeah, not to try to segregate herself from Mick, but it comes down to Mick and Linda don't talk to each other. They need to.
Well, that is the main problem, isn't it? For the past 5 years.
But it's just always boils down to the fact that every time that a problem arises, it's that because they don't communicate with one another, and like they seem to be the worst culprits on the square for this. Like they just don't seem to have this. Like everyone says how they look up to their marriage and how they're like the gold standard of how a marriage should work, but yet they're probably the worst marriage on the square.
Well, that's like the landlord and landlady of Queen Vic like summed up, isn't it? Like Angie and Den were the same. You put up a front for your punters and for the community, and Pat and Frank, and now I guess and Sharon and Grant were the same.
Yeah, but
I guess it's like a thing that the landlady and landlord of the Vic do. They put up this front of this perfect family.
But I don't think they are putting the thing is they weren't putting on the face because they were the perfect family. But whenever they have problems, they just don't deal with them properly. They wouldn't need to put this face on to the public if they dealt with the problem properly. It hazards the question, really. It just kind of that seems to be lingering in the air quite often now, which is how much longer can the Carters really run the pub? Are they really fit to run the pub any longer?
Well, even Mick said to Sharon, he said, "Oh, how could Angie run the Vic? She was an alcoholic." So he's obviously going to be questioning it when it does come out. He's going to be questioning the same thing, I guess.
Well, he's questioning it now. He's questioning it already. So is there any longevity anymore for the Carters to run the Queen Vic?
All Linda has to do is just turn it down a little bit, undo a few of her top buttons, and let a bit out, and let people know that there is she's not perfect. That's her main problem, isn't it? She likes to everyone think that she's perfect. Yeah, but needs to let it all out a little bit.
Yeah, but if Phil is a case study, this in fact it happened again this week. There's if you're an alcoholic, if you depend yourself on alcohol in order to make yourself feel better, then really you can let down as many buttons as you like. You can unclip your hair as much as you like. You're always going to be dependent on alcohol, and if you're working in a setting where there's alcohol around you all the time, literally at 1 inch away from your hand, where you just grab a glass and then top it up with a measure, then it's dangerous. Phil this week, came very close to drinking again with his fallout. It only takes a small thing for Linda to have a fallout. So again, it just poses the question, is there any future now for Linda and Mick in the Queen Vic?
Yes, it's not the type of thing that they can write out.
Of course they can't.
Like Patrick Stroke, for example.
Yeah.
They can't do that.
Or Stuart shooting Mick, or shooting himself in the Vic. It's not something you can just kind of patch over and kind of use Tipp-Ex and just forget it ever happened. It's happened, it's happening, and now this is going to be a character trait for Linda for the rest of her time on the soap. So
I suppose we'll just have to see if 2020 will possibly be their last year in the Vic, or at least Linda's last year in the Vic.
I think it will. I just don't see there's any future for them in the Vic anymore.
Shirley and Phil can run it. Oh no, he's an alcoholic too.
Yeah, exactly. Phil can't.
Kathy.
Phil could own it, and what I think Kathy's an alcoholic too. Every time she's invited out for some kind of social gathering, she normally ends up legless, being crawled home by Tina.
That's true.
So I don't know who could actually potentially run it.
Callum.
Well, Chantel and Gray.
There's not a future there.
Yeah, but that's my point. The Vic is always the hive, isn't it? That's the spot.
No, Gray's too proud to do something common like that.
No, don't you think he'd like the idea of lording it over?
Community man.
Yeah. He'd like
maybe.
that. He'd enjoy that. I mean, it could be a little side project that Gray could buy in for Chantel. So he kind of pops home in the evening after his soliciting. Not that he sells himself on the streets.
Sadly.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, that'd be nice. But I think it's likely that it's going to be an outsider coming in. But
maybe the Panesar brothers. They'll buy that too.
I wonder if it might be the Panesar brothers too. I really do. That'd be really interesting though, because that's not really a family setup. Every time something new comes in, it's a family normally, or I don't know. It just feels right for it to be like that. But maybe they've got girlfriends hidden in the wings, ready to come.
Of course, or boyfriends.
Of course. We're very liberal here at EastEnders Weekly Podcast.
Right, so let's move on now and talk a little bit about the Honey situation with the pageants. Yes, the other pageant storyline is continuing. Mm-hmm. And where I thought I was a bit worried that they were retracting Honey's character back to just working the Minute Mart with Billy in a relationship. And I was a bit worried that they were undoing like a year's worth of slight character growth for her. But it seems like they're kind of keeping it going.
Kind of, but not
half
really.
Trying to go back to what she wants to be.
Yeah.
Which I'm just not here for her and Billy getting back together. But Honey's. I know, that's what I don't like, the way she's just sitting there all like snooty tooty on the sofa, like looking at them.
Yeah, and it's just the fact that she's just fallen back into something that's safe again, and it's like, oh no, honey, don't do that. Stop taking the safe option. It's really nice, her friendship with Ash. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's really good.
And I love the fact that Ash is like only been on the square for a month or two, and she's had more of an impact than like a few characters that were introduced. Yeah, like in either the same time frame or Habiba and Ikra. I mean, Ikra is quite lucky that she's got herself attached to Ash, because together they make an interesting couple. But poor Habiba, she's getting in the wilderness a little bit now, isn't she? And she's kind of had her story, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, she's like Robbie Jackson territory.
She is
Ted territory.
That's right. And so slowly one day you'll hear that she's going to go off travelling
on a pilgrimage.
Yeah.
I just find it funny how Honey doesn't seem to accept that Billy's with Karen, but like all last year it was fine for her to be with Adam and they were broken up.
Yeah, it was a double standard, isn't it?
But now that she's broken up with Adam, she finds it really offensive that he's moved on.
I don't think she finds it offensive.
You know what I mean? Like, she finds it like he shouldn't have, in a way. That's what it's coming across as.
Well, I think because Billy spent so long trying to get Honey last year, throughout the year, now that she's there and accepting for Billy to come and sweep her off her feet, and he's not doing it because he's got this relationship with Karen now, and he doesn't seem to be actively trying to stop the relationship with Karen. He's quite happy and suited with Karen. I mean, I think they're a good couple, Karen and Billy, honestly. And I don't really want, as you said, the growth with Honey that's been in, with Adam, and it just doesn't seem right to me for her to just get back
straight
together.
Back. Yeah. I'd rather she stayed with Ash.
I know. Yeah, Honey and Ash seems to be an interesting,
very good couple.
Yeah, I know. It's strange, isn't it? It seems to be. Do you think, without it sounding too crass, that Ash likes Honey more than that, or do you think just that Ash is just a very friendly person?
Yeah, she's a doctor. She's very professional.
Yeah, she is. She's great.
There for someone.
She is great. I mean, she's prescribed alcohol to Honey, which is probably not the safest bet considering what we just talked about with Linda.
That's true. But she was sort of giving her advice because Honey was getting upset that one, Lola had got Janet like involved in the pageants without really asking Honey. She just asked Billy. And then two, Karen is kind of parenting or trying to parent Janet and like doing her hair, and Honey's not really. She feels like she's kind of being forgotten or left out, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
and the new Honey doesn't get left out. She's there. She's headstrong a little bit.
But I don't think
with a little push from Ash.
See, that's the thing, though. I don't think Honey's being headstrong in the right direction. I think Honey should be confident in the trying to kind of build her life back up again as an independent, strong woman, rather than again falling back on I need a man to look after me. Oh, Billy's very dependable. Billy's okay, so I'm going to fall back onto Billy. Oh, but Billy's with this other woman now, Karen. So now I'm going to make Karen. I'm going to put Karen down to make myself feel better, and it's no really any different to what Adam was doing to Honey, which is basically
undermining her,
and shaming everyone else to make her feel and act like she's better. And that's the one thing that made me a bit angry, because it's great that Ash's relationship with Honey is so strong between them, but at the same time I think that Ash really didn't give her very good advice when it came to Karen, because I think she should have said, well, hold your horses there. Billy has moved on. You insisted on that, so stop trying to now.
Yeah, try and just accept her. Yeah,
almost revert Billy back into your line of thinking. You made Billy change his line of thinking away from you, and now you're trying to bring him back again because you're lonely and want someone's attention. And there's for me, Honey is stronger, so show it by just being herself and being
stronger.
Yeah, and being being able to share Janet with Karen.
I mean, the other underlying thing of this is the pageant thing, and obviously the history of Honey's bulimia and her modelling, and she doesn't kind of want Janet to get involved in that world, I guess. But the funny thing is, she let Will was a young
Will modelled, yeah.
So,
but this is the thing, isn't it? So it kind of shows that maybe Honey still hasn't gotten over Janet's her Down syndrome, and
it's a bit overprotective, I guess.
I don't think it's being overprotective. I think she worries that Janet's going to be humiliated and laughed at, and
then in turn she's laughed at. Yeah.
Exactly. And Honey doesn't like to be looked and pointed at. She kind of likes to just kind of mix into the the background.
Yeah, it's a complicated one, but I'm glad that they are looking into it, like her Honey's past, because we know so little about her actual past. So it is interesting, and hopefully maybe she can open up to Ash a bit more, and we can learn a bit more about her.
I hope so. The friendship is the good part of this. It's just that I think that they need to just keep her away from Karen and Billy, and let Karen and Billy have a journey of their own. Let them have
they can break up on themselves.
Exactly. I'm sure they will. I'm sure Billy will do something to muck it up, so let them do it. They're a car crash waiting to happen.
Easy. Right, we're going to go on to our feature, which is just some news about the press event that happened recently and a new casting.
Not just some news, Ben. Some big news.
Involved Letitia Dean, so.
Time to read all about it. The Walford Gazette is out for another issue. A special feature this week, just before Christmas.
That's right, 30 pence.
No, I haven't got a 30 pence. Will you take a half-eaten Snickers bar and...
Deep fry it in, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, deep fry it in vegetable oil and fat.
Little warning for everyone, there may be slight spoilers for future storylines here, so
yes, this is going to be very, very spoilerific. So if you want to know how far to skip forward, have a look on the show notes and then go to the next section, because yes, we will be revealing a few stories, quite current ones as well, just right now.
Announcements from the press event.
Absolutely. So where should we start then? So there was the press event. This basically was what we're talking about. The press event that happened on the 18th of December for all press, obviously, and writers about EastEnders, and they got to see the Christmas episodes and the New Year's episodes.
Our invite got lost again 2 years in a row.
I know, in the post, but don't worry, John Sen knows us now.
He does know that.
He does. We made it quite clear to him. So we might get an invite next year, or indeed at any point during a press event that's coming for EastEnders in the following 2020 calendar.
I mean, this one happens every year, because this is the one where they announced the Lola coming back last year.
Yes.
So we were expecting possibly a casting announcement.
And we weren't disappointed by this, because we have what may I just say I predicted could happen only 2 days prior to this, because anyone who follows us on Twitter, we have a Christmas countdown advent calendar, and each day we have a different topic that we post a picture of, and a character that I wanted back, I said Peter Bill. So obviously I didn't predict it, but I wanted it to happen. And obviously last minute at the press event, they thought, right, Alex from EastEnders Weekly Podcast, he wants Peter Bill back.
He's not started filming yet.
Yes, that's it. Let's get the cogs in motion. And they certainly did. So he's the 7th iteration.
But really the 4th, because I don't count kids.
Well,
really.
the very, very young
as Peter
ones.
as a character of his own storyline, there's been 3 before him, I'd say.
But there's been a lot of criticism being thrown again because obviously,
really?
Well, yes, because obviously Ben Mitchell had been replaced. He was a 6th iteration, and a lot of people have been saying, "Why do you keep changing the actor who plays him?" And you have to understand that the guy who played him most recently,
Peter, you mean, or Ben?
Peter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ben Hardy.
Well, I suppose I did mean Ben there. meant both. It was very confusing. He's doing Netflix films now. He's busy. He's busy, and he did the Bohemian Rhapsody film recently.
I find it funny how the day that this was announced was the same day where he was a bit shady towards EastEnders. And Lorraine brought it up and he didn't want to talk about it. And then 10 minutes later, recast.
Yeah. By the way, there's been a recast.
Yeah, so take that, Ben Hardy. That was funny.
I think it's common knowledge that he possibly was invited to come back and he turned it down.
Probably.
It was that speculation. I'm not sure. I got the impression that he was invited, but he kind of turned it down. Just Good. Like one certain, because obviously if Peter Bill's coming back, then straight away the piggyback of the news is, well, then Lauren must be coming back. Lauren Branning must come back with him, and so Jacqueline Josser, and this is, this has
we should have saw it coming, shouldn't we?
With his yes, and she has officially said that she was asked back by the producers
recently,
and she said no for. Basically going on, I'm a celebrity.
And winning,
and then doing nothing with it. So good job, Jacqueline.
I'm glad that Lauren's not coming back though. So I'm not displeased.
No, see, I would like Lauren to come back, but I'm not particularly fussed about... Sorry to any... This is going to get so much hate, but I'm really not fussed about Jacqueline Josser coming back
either.
As Lauren.
She's rubbish.
No. I mean, she's not rubbish.
Yeah, but she's just bored when she's on the show. She shouldn't come back.
She's a bit like what Keanu is acting right now.
Yeah.
Just doesn't seem to put any effort into it. Just seems to kind of just do the motions.
She just plays Jacqueline Josser, basically.
We don't know Jacqueline Josser intimately. So...
Well, we've seen her on I'm a Celeb, so...
Well, we've seen her on Instagram stories enough to know what maybe Jacqueline Josser's
recast
like.
her, actually. That'd be even funnier, because then she can't come back.
She could have ghosts. She could have the ghost of Abby Branning haunting her, a bit like
they should recast like Lauren and cast Lorna Fitzgerald as Lauren. Just dye her hair
black. Yeah, make it dark. That'd be amazing. So anyway, the main story is that Peter Bill's coming back. He's being played by.
Tell me about him.
Well, I will. He's been played by Dale Hudson. There's not much really to say about him. But he has got a show reel out there if you search for it.
Yes, it's on our
YouTube.
Facebook group. I put it on there for everyone to look at his acting skills.
Oh, there we go. So if you go to our Facebook group, just by going to Facebook and looking for EastEnders Weekly Podcast, clicking to join, you will find the video there. So what was your first reaction of him? I know... Cheekbones for days. Yeah.
Blonde hair. Mm-hmm. He looks like Peter Bill. He does look like a Peter Bill. More than what Ben Hardy does, I feel.
He looks like a mix of... like
the past two, yeah. Thomas Law and...
Yeah. So it's a good casting yet again.
And... he's like, I don't know, the look they're going for is, are they going to do a darker Peter or...
No, not another dark character.
I don't know, but there must be some sort of reason. But they haven't said what his storyline is coming back. But obviously we know he lives in New Zealand. He's apparently with Lauren. Ian was it in the summer? Ian disappeared for a few months to help him get off of drugs or something.
Wasn't that a while back? That was when Masood was still in this show because he came back with that book about how to,
be better,
be more motivated.
About a year ago then.
Yeah.
So whether Peter's on drugs or not, or why he's leaving New Zealand, has Simon Wick's been mean to him?
Is he indeed? Does he know
Simon Wick's
dead?
coming back? Yeah. So lots of things going on. But I'm guessing he'll come back without Lauren and without Louis.
Well, this is speculation, obviously. But
or is Lauren dead? Who knows?
No, they can't kill off another Branning daughter. That'd be awful. There'd only be the son left.
And baby Abby.
Oh, of course, yeah, but baby Abby's the grandson of Max Branning. Yeah, so I am excited that he's coming back. As I said, I did say I would like Peter Bill to come back, build up the bills as we keep carrying on the show.
Give Kathy something to do. Obviously, Martin left the fruit and veg stall recently, so that explains that. So Pete's going to go straight back on there.
Yep.
Pete Bill.
Follow Ian's dad's footsteps. licks his fingers and gets paper bags off the shelf. Yep. So it'd be really interesting. And I kind of hope Lauren does come back. As I say, I personally would like it recast. You guys listen.
Trouble is, though, if Lauren comes back, that gives Max Branning even more roots into the show to not leave. That's a tricky slope there.
That's true. But, I mean...
Is it worth it?
They are softening Max. And with this intrepid mission that they're trying to make Max a much more likeable character, it is beginning to rub on me a little bit that, it's just becoming so obvious that they're trying to revert Max. Like with Stuart, they did it in such a almost quite a natural way, but with Max it's being forced, and they're now linking him up with Ruby, and Ruby's become a really good character. So
maybe Peter will return with Louis and say that Lauren's gone off the rails since her leg incident. She's been addicted to painkillers.
Leg incident.
Well, last time we saw her, she was hobbling off,
didn't she? Yeah.
So maybe she's become addicted to painkillers, and Peter's left her.
She stole Abby's Julia's thing. Let's not discuss this any further. But yeah, maybe that's the story. So she's kidnapped the kid and come back to the UK. The publicity shots, you don't see him you think he'd be with a child.
He'd have a kid. Yeah, they're leaving it. Maybe he comes back for the 35th anniversary.
But just for they wouldn't do it.
No, as his that's when he's back, because he's not started filming yet. So adds up.
Yeah. Well, we touched on something else actually, because a few more stories came from the press event. One of them, Martin, as I said, we touched on Martin just now, and the revelation that his Dark Martin character was actually created by James By himself. He wanted to be that character. Yeah, he was the one who put forward the idea to Kate Oates.
Yeah, because he reminded her that he dangled Ben from a bridge.
Yes.
And she was like, oh, didn't know that. And write that down quickly. So, yes, they sort of really... That's why they really went with that bridge incident, I guess, which we were all a bit confused about at the time.
They wove it into the plot.
Yeah, so that explains why. But, yeah, Martin...
But I wonder why the actor James By wanted this dark turn for his character.
He has a bit of acting chops, doesn't he? He's a really good actor, so... He
is, but it's a character. I mean, a lot of people can't get on board with this kind of character, as we've talked a few times. I don't mind him, but obviously not for everyone's cup of tea.
Coming up to the 17th year anniversary of him doing Hit and Run on Jamie as well, so he's at his lowest point this Christmas.
He's going to have a very dark Christmas. So, as I said, James By was at the event, as was Max Bowden. Tilly Keeper.
She had a hat on.
I know. She came out to say hello.
It's like she was hiding. She had a hat and sunglasses on.
Maybe she had a drink had a bit too much beforehand.
Most important though, guest.
But this is what I was going to say.
Surprise.
The very surprising. Lots of pictures out on Twitter from all the press, basically all overwhelmed and excited that they got to have a photograph with the one, the only, the UK Mariah Carey.
Rare public appearance.
Very rare. Ms. Letitia Dean. She was out and about doing the junket and all kinds of stuff.
Very rare. She didn't even turn up to awards.
No. She was looking great though. Yeah. Looking really good. You were saying that it's a shame that she can't pick her outfit on the show, really, because she looked better at the press event than she did. Sharon's meant to be this, glamour puss, yeah. Nothing but Gucci for Sharon, and she looked better at the press event.
Yeah, Tish knows how to do it, doesn't she?
She can ring in an audience if she needs to.
It did make me laugh that every single journalist was desperate to get a photo with Letitia Dean.
I'd be too.
It was basically just a meet and greet.
Yeah.
And the Christmas episode was showing.
Yes. But as you say, everyone had their photograph taken, and a little friendly jibe by the Custard TV, friends of ours on the podcast, said that you and I are the only people now that haven't met Letitia Dean.
Yeah, because he got invited to the set and he met Letitia Dean.
Yep, he's met her.
Stephen Patterson now works for Metro Soap, so he met her.
Yeah, Duncan Lindsay was in the photo too. Everyone had their arm around Letitia Dean. They were prizing her away from the champagne to have a photograph taken with her.
Very rude.
Well, she did make a few jokes, though. She jokingly said that she would love a storyline where she was having an affair with Ben Mitchell, her son-in-law.
Well, that's destroyed Twitter, by the way, as well. Have you seen all the comments? People were really angry at her for suggesting.
Oh, really? No, I haven't seen it.
Of course, she was joking.
Yes, tongue was firmly in cheek when she said it. And there was also a leak of the New Year celebration or the New Year story for EastEnders, because I think we pretty much know what's happening over Christmas now this year.
It's like a special episode, which is quite interesting. And it appears that there's 2 episodes set on New Year's Day. One is the one that they announced where it follows Linda, like a day in Linda's world. A
day in the life of Linda.
So it's a bit like the episode, where they did with Stacey, where they followed her when she was having her breakdown and the camera was on her. I guess it would be like that. So Linda goes from party to party and the night sort of spirals, I guess.
Drinking more and more. I see.
So yeah, be interesting to see what they do. It's meant to be quite a brave episode, they've said that they've done. So.
Well, it'd be nice to put some kind of... I know there is... To say context isn't really the right term. It's the best I can think of right now. But to just put some layers and some context onto the Linda story, the alcoholism storyline. And I think to do something like this, where you see her kind of spiralling out of control, especially at the time of year when drinking is seen as a bit more of a normal thing to do, but people around her can see that she's doing it a little bit more than what should be okay. I think it's an interesting idea.
I am looking forward to it. Hopefully it'll be like you'll see it through her eyes where she's drunk, and then they'll like the second episode that's set on the same day, maybe they'll show it through like the people who are sober looking at her, and it's like distorted a bit. I mean, that'd be interesting.
Yeah,
like, to see how she is hearing people reply back to her.
Oh, through her beer goggle eyes.
Yeah, compared to people sober, like telling her to like move on or whatever.
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be quite interesting.
Yeah, so you can see what she thinks they're saying to her. Oh yeah, that'd be great.
We'll see.
We shall see. Is there anything else that you took from the press event that caught your eyes?
Letitia Dean.
That's all it was.
I mean, it did worry me that Letitia Dean did turn up, because obviously there's rumours that she may be taking a break, and obviously end of her contract she'd be like, okay, I'll appear, I'll go to the meet and greet. So that does worry me, but we'll see. Yeah,
almost out of the kindness, just to say thank you for these past 7-8 years. Now I'm bowing out politely.
But then again, like, if Louise is leaving, Keanu's leaving. Yeah. Sharon can't leave. There'd be just Phil left for the storyline. Yeah,
so. But you could look at it the other way, that with all these big characters linked to Sharon leaving, it makes sense for Sharon to leave too, and almost start afresh in about 3-4 years' time.
3 or 4 years?
She likes her long break. No. She likes her long breaks.
All I'll accept is a 4 to 6 month break.
I can hear Calendar Girls, the stage show, shouting her, saying, Letitia.
She could join Thunder Girls.
She could do Thunder Girls. Oh, yes. I mean, she should have her own daytime chat show.
Like Tish.
Tisha, yeah, Tisha. Like Jeremy Kyle, she gets those audience members to come out and start shouting at one another. Anyway, we're going into the realms of nonsense. So, lovely. So that was the press event. I hope you guys, you didn't spoil too much if you did decide to carry on listening to it. But if you want, latest news updates, you can always find some on our Twitter. Also, our YouTube channel, where we do videos and spoilers every week. Just go to YouTube and then search EastEnders Weekly Podcast. You can find us then.
That's right. On with the roundup then.
Yep, let's carry on.
So Rainie's still got her fringe.
Yeah. And now she's got baby Abby.
Oh yeah, who never seems to age.
Like, baby Abby or Rainie?
No, Rainie does. Baby Abby. She's just always Baby Abby all the time.
Maybe she's just going to be the character as Baby Abby. She'll be like this Lisa or Bart Simpson.
Yeah,
like, there will always be 8 or 10. Yeah, exactly, Maggie. Yeah. She'll never say, what will her first words be? It'll be like, oh, that's such a good episode of The Simpsons. What do you think Baby Abby's first words will be?
Crack.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But yeah, Rainie was in, because she was helping Stuart, because he's found a career which he could possibly be good at.
Death.
He hasn't been fired on the first day again, so that's good for him. And he doesn't have to dress up as hot dogs, so that's all fine.
Yeah, nice suit, nice brown suit, I think. Yeah,
he looked quite good on Friday actually. He scrubs up,
just popped out of the cupboard. It was there, ready to wear.
Callum, one of Callum's old ones.
I don't think he'd fit in Callum's suits. Callum doesn't really fit in his suits, does he? He's very tight on him.
Quite, and all the right places.
Yes, all the bumps.
But yeah, he's sort of he was left in charge at the beginning of the week because Jay was doing something, can't remember what, and
probably car lot related.
Yeah. So but he thought he messed something up, and bodies were being sent to the wrong place.
The body that was meant
burnt and one was buried or something.
You can have a bit more respect. One body went to the crematorium when it was meant to be buried, and one body that was meant to be not buried, went to the burial site.
That's what I said.
Oh, you just said burn.
Yeah, burn.
How dare you?
Oh, please.
You'd never get a job at Coca and Sons.
Well,
and
they were putting
Mitchell's.
Christmas lights up. They don't mind. They're happy.
Well, I know. That's quite an unusual twist that the story went that direction at the end of the week. That basically, in order to get more people... I mean, how do you drum up a trade in funeral
You don't need to, because people die in December
That's
anyway.
That's what I mean. It's one of those things that, like... How...
It should be at its busiest, actually, this time of year.
Do you think?
Yeah, it's at its highest at the moment, so something's happening.
How do you know this statistic?
Oh, I know. Lots of family members died around this time.
What,
it's always
personally?
December, yeah. It's always December.
Well, in EastEnders, everyone gets born around Christmas time.
That's true. But a lot do die on Christmas Day, too.
Well, Pauline.
Archie.
Oh, that's true.
And others.
And more.
There is a lot. I saw them all recently on a list. But so they should be busy, but they're just trying to drum up trade and know that they're approachable in case someone does die soon.
Well,
they'll remember them.
But going into a building with neon lights flashing.
Yeah.
It's like Amsterdam. Sonia did like it.
Sonia liked it. She works at the hospital. Lots of people die there.
That's true.
You can recommend.
So Sonia could give out some business cards after.
I saw some great lights.
Yeah. Oh, sorry to hear that your aunt has died, but I know a really good funeral parlour who could do the work for you. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I suppose it's attracted the right audience then. I suppose.
It did. I don't really know what the point was of the storyline. I guess it was just to show that Rainie and Stuart are like a good team and he's good at what he's doing. Yeah,
Rainie and Stuart are a good couple and long may they continue. And also to show Jay that perhaps he's done things too by the book for too long and that maybe...
Sounds like Jay.
Yeah, shaking it up a little bit. I mean, I don't really know. Like, he's gonna commit his time more now to the car lot, as he's repeatedly said. But I don't really know what he's going to do there. Because
cars?
I can't imagine Jay having a patter. Like,
no, he doesn't have much to him, does he?
No.
He'll do the filing.
Well, that's all working. Well, so he's like a secretary. He'll be the secretary. He'll do all the lackey work while Ben does all the hard work of selling the cars. Ben, I can see it because Ben's got a kind of patter to him. But Jay doesn't really have that patter. I can't see Jay having that patter.
No, he's more suited in the coffin business, really.
He is.
But so's Stuart. He's proven his worth, and so's Rainie. So hopefully Rainie may be on the book soon, I imagine, because she's putting in all the work.
So then it will be Coker and Mitchell and Highway
and Branning
and Cross
and Baby Abby
and Sons.
But yeah, I guess that was it was just like a little Christmassy thing, and Sonia enjoyed the lights and all the extras liked it and they looked at it. So
I love it, Sonia and the Extras. Sounds like a band name. They could raise money for
next year's Christmas storyline.
They can raise money for the NHS Trust. Sonia and the Extras sings the choir hits.
Right, so we're going on to the Mitchells cross Jack, cross Ballum, cross Keanu storyline now.
My goodness, lots of merged.
Yeah, it's got like things, loads going on. So yes, there was a kidnap. I mean, so we start with Phil first because he's my main issue of the week.
Okay.
It's very uneasy to watch, I find.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's angry at Sharon because she's possibly slept with someone. He doesn't really know that yet, but he kind of does. But like the fact that he's walking around like threatening to kill this pregnant woman, and on Friday like he bashed his chair into her and made her drop her phone, and it's like it just feels a bit like not horrible. It does feel horrible, but I don't know what the word is. But it just feels really like
sinister.
Yeah, like you're doing this to this woman who's
callous,
pregnant,
isn't it? It's almost nasty what he's trying to do.
It's like, okay, she may be pregnant with someone else's baby, but that's still another child, and he's like, I'm gonna kill her and strangle her to death. It's like, it's just a bit much.
I must admit, when he was saying those words, I was the same kind of park as you. I felt like, so when if you want to kill Sharon, you want to kill this innocent child. Yeah, but not just Sharon. You're basically, if you're killing Sharon, you're killing this innocent child that's in Sharon, and that's a real dark turn for Phil. It's one thing to say you want to kill someone, but it's another thing to do it to a pregnant woman. Yeah,
it's really odd how this is really like hit him hard. Like, obviously it would have hit him hard, but we've seen Phil thousands of times go off the rails, but never this sort of menacing, I suppose. It seems to be really getting at him, and he's constantly like slagging her off, saying, "Oh, you don't know her. She can do this. She'd sleep with anyone.
She's really manipulative. It's not like she's not done it before."
But she is.
Which is true.
I know it is true, but it just feels really weird the way he's like saying that he'll strangle her, and like Ben and Keanu are just sitting there listening. None of them seem to shrug or say, "Calm down, Dad." Like, do you know what I mean?
I mean, Keanu clearly is looking very concerned for
himself.
Exactly, by Phil's attitude. But yeah, you're right. It's gnawing away at Phil, isn't it? And it's something that seems to be just getting deeper and deeper. And the wound of, the wounded Phil seems to be getting more and more obsessed with basically getting justice for Phil.
And I'm assuming what's going to happen, what I'm going to moan at now. I'm like, he's not got Sharon and had a proper conversation with her, but obviously we're going to be getting that at Christmas, which will be interesting because I want to know if they're going to bring up his child with Denise, because that was like a similar situation.
That's true. That's very true. I forgot about that.
So hopefully Sharon, she likes to sling up the dirt, doesn't she? So hopefully she'll bring that up. But also the way he like went for Jack this week as well was really just murderous. Like he was going to ram into like Jack and the kids.
He stopped himself before he was going. Yeah, you're right. He was going for Jack. But then when Amy and Ricky came running out, skipping out, he did stop himself. But my God, he was bright red, and he was, the pressure was there, and he was ready to do it.
But he said like that Karen and the Taylors were family now because of Peggy. But like is Jack not family then technically because he's had a kid with Sam and Ronnie? Yeah, and Roxy, sorry. But Phil and Ronnie.
Well, yeah, Phil constantly said that he felt like Jack had ruined the Mitchells, that he kind of planted his seed inside the Mitchells, and it didn't suit well for him. It didn't quite, it was something he couldn't really swallow. And I think there's always been that deep set hate with Jack, and there's always been that kind of nastiness between them, and this is just another way of letting off some steam. I think it was almost an excuse for Phil to want to get his revenge on Jack.
We had another kidnapping.
Well, you can't go a week without a kidnap now.
No, literally. It's getting quite... And it's always in the same bit of road as well.
Yeah, I know. And it's always in a van, and it's always through the side entrance of the van as well.
Although I did notice this time, unlike all the other kidnappings this year, Jack had a mattress to be pushed onto.
Oh, that's nice. They softened his blow.
So that was good. Lola didn't get that.
No, she didn't.
Or Keanu.
Although she got to listen to the Girls Aloud soundtrack, so...
That's true.
Soundtrack? God, album.
Pluses and minuses. But I mean, Phil was ready... We've always been saying Phil's not a murderer, and like all these dufters and cliffhangers did like leave nothing for me because I knew that
it would never
Phil's
happen.
Not a murderer. But he was dousing him in petrol, had a gun. I don't know why he had that gun if he was going to set him on fire. Was he going to shoot him after he was on fire or what? Was that just a backup plan?
yeah, set him on fire and let him run. The thing is that what would have been a real big shock is if Phil had become a murderer. Obviously, then this possibly would have been the end of Phil. But because he's always never gotten his hands dirty, he's always stopped. There's always been a line, and that line's obviously murder. He's always only maimed or hurt or physically disfigured people. But anything further than that is where Phil stops.
I mean, there was that storyline years and years and years ago where he accidentally set fire to the homeless man in the car lot.
Right.
And that tortured Phil for a long time, and he set on fire, so he burnt to death. So it was interesting that Phil chose to possibly set Jack on fire.
But then I suppose the homeless person was innocent. He had done nothing. He hadn't crossed. He hadn't
slept with
the
Sharon.
Mitchell.
That we knew of. Could have.
He hadn't made. Well, exactly. It could have happened. Who knows?
Sharon in the 80s was
very promiscuous. But Jack has done wrong here. Jack hasn't done wrong actually. That's completely wrong thing to say. But Phil thought Jack had done wrong. But yeah, poor Jack. Jack was a bit upset, I think. Jack was quite hurt by the whole... Because I think there was always that...
Traumatised.
Yeah, I think there was always that kind of mutual... There was always that mutual respect between him and Phil. Not that they liked each other very much.
But they knew...
But they knew that they could just keep
bad
out
as each other.
Yeah, keep out of each other's way. But this week, Phil kind of stepped up and showed Jack that he could fight with the best of them. But then I suppose it's not really a fair fight when Jack's kind of tied up in a pit.
At all. And he didn't kidnap him himself.
No, exactly. He got all that done by someone else.
I did wonder how Phil padlocked the archers from
the outside.
It's like, what was Phil... If he did actually kill Jack, what was he planning to do once he was dead?
I don't think he was thinking
leave him
that
in
far.
The pit and just that was it?
We'll let him rot.
I guess so.
And emigrate. I mean, I don't think Phil's not been thinking, has he? I mean, as I said earlier on the podcast, he was going to drink until Ben stopped him. I mean, can I just say that scene when him and Ben were in the house and Ben was like begging him, saying, don't let this destroy you. You're stronger than this, and we don't want to lose you, as a family.
Yeah, Phil was saying it's either me, I die, or the Jack dies, or the man who did this dies.
Yeah, or either I die, as in I will drink myself to death. And I mean, the scene between them, the actors were brilliant, wasn't it? There was a real mutual respect there, and I really, they had that scene again over the drinking when Ben,
a few months ago.
Yeah,
it was really good. But yeah, they have a really good chemistry, those two, and I suppose really that's one of the best points of Ben's recast, because him and Harry Reid was fine, but him and Phil never really had the same chemistry that Max Bowden seems to have with Steve. And yeah, it's really good. And they a lot of the time they do them in like one take as well, which they keep saying. So they obviously work really well. And you can see sometimes in the scene something happens where it's not meant to, but they carry on.
Yeah.
Like that happened again on this scene. I can't remember what it was. Like he put the vodka bottle down and something slipped or fell, but they carried on.
It was really natural, and that's what made it more. And it actually always has a throwback to how they used to film the scenes in the 80s, where they used to film the scenes, but then if a mistake was made, it was kept in because it felt more. Well, yeah, it felt more natural.
Yeah.
It felt, it felt like you were watching through a window of someone's house rather than watching a TV scene play out. But yeah, I wonder if Max Bowden, when he had to audition, did it with Steve McFadden, just so they could see the kind of chemistry between them. Yeah. It's just their chemistry is just outstanding.
I mean, Max Bowden does have the advantage of having like chemistry with every character so far, so it's probably more down to him.
He's an excellent actor.
Yeah.
I mean, he just any doubts that we had at the beginning, like people were saying, I mean, you cannot fault what Max Bowden done, and you know, there's a lot of complaints of people moaning that he's basically on every episode since he started, but I think there's a good reason for that. He's just a monumental character. He's made Ben Mitchell his own, and I think it just plays so well on screen.
Yeah, he's excellent casting. Very good.
Yes. Anyway, enough gushing over.
Yeah, shut. We've got more of him later. But so obviously Jack then is let off because they find out that he didn't impregnate Sharon.
Impregnate? God, very clinical.
And then like just because when this was happening, I was like, oh well, what's going to stop him going to police and Phil can just go to prison for 4 years? But like Ben had this weird thing where like he offers a Mitchell favour. Yeah. Anytime he needs one.
It's like a golden ticket.
Like, really, this Mitchell favour is not really going to be that brilliant, is it?
I've got a golden ticket.
So I'm wondering, he's not used that favour. Although, did he use that favour this week? He said something like,
please leave me alone.
It was something like, leave it or don't let Phil hurt someone. And Ben was like, oh yeah, I promise. Was that the favour?
I don't think that was the official favour.
Okay, good.
No, that was just a kind of like a pinky promise.
See, that was a bit odd. Because we know that Jack's obviously a bit straight-laced now. So I found that a bit like...
Just straight-laced.
Okay, clutching at straws there. But then we had like Phil like thinking every man in Walford was the man. Even Kush, apparently.
Well, yeah, bar the one it was.
Stood right next to him. But yeah, he thought maybe Max, because Max like hugged her in the market.
Yeah.
She touched Kush's chest.
Yes.
Any chance she gets, she wants a new wardrobe when she's had the baby. Thank God.
Wink.
I'm surprised she didn't go to Whitney's still. She went to Kush's still.
Well, Whitney's is exactly unique, one of a kind dresses. You think that would be more Sharon's style, but no, she likes the the mass production.
I'd go to Kush's still.
Would you? He's got his own changing room. Do you remember he's got his own changing room?
Does he?
Yeah.
On the market? On
the market. He's got a little he's got like a curtain bit in the corner of his stall. I remember
because Bex didn't use that this year.
Yeah. I remember there was a scene and they said, oh, have you got someone to try this on? And he went, oh yeah, just over there.
How odd. I'd go into the cafe toilets. It's just behind, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you walked in with the Kathy would be like, are you going to buy anything? You know, Kathy, she's a shrewd businesswoman.
Oh, my cup.
yeah, I'll get a pink and blue cup,
Kath.
please. You can buy them now.
I know, on Redbubble.
Oh, yeah.
Search it. Not by us, so we're not profiting.
They're not ours, we're not making any money from them. But you can buy merch.
We missed our chance. And then the other half of this storyline, I guess, is the Callum and Ben situation.
Yeah, their relationship, or the breakdown of.
Because Callum witnessed him like dragging Jack in the house, and he came back from a stressful day, wanted to just watch a film on the sofa and snuggle up, twiddle with his hair, but he saw a bit of blood on his jacket, and he urged Ben like subtly to open up and tell him about his day, truthfully, but Ben didn't want to.
He didn't, and he gave him 12 hours essentially,
all night.
All night.
He gave him the cold stare all night. I imagine.
Can you imagine?
Cold in that bedroom.
Ben sleeping and kind of just sat there staring at him. Like, you're gonna tell me?
Yeah, listening to Rainie and Stuart next door.
Yeah.
But yeah, the next morning he tried, and Ben did say some really horrible things. He said, "It's my family, so like you keep out." And I thought that was like, okay, like isn't Callum your family? Like Phil welcomed him into the Mitchells.
Yeah.
Why can't you, Ben? I mean, it's complicated.
It's complicated. I think Ben is trying to keep Callum away from the trouble, and I think it's obviously a deliberate.
He's doing it from his heart.
Yeah,
like, but in a Ben Mitchell way.
Well, he says he's trying to protect Callum because Callum sees the world full of like daffodils and flowers and everything's so spongy and lovely and warm.
Plus, if Ben admitted what he was doing, he's basically admitting that he's going to murder someone. So,
well, yeah, because that's the thing, though. Ben is again, he's kind of like his father in this respect. He's not doing it himself. He's not getting the blood on his hands. He's just going to organise for someone else to do it for them. Mainly so they don't get in trouble with the police.
Yeah.
But Ben sees the world in a very cold, very uniform, very matter-of-fact way, while Callum sees it in a more of a spectrum of love and peace and harmony. And I think that where their relationship it attracts one another, because they kind of, one softens the other while the other kind of protects
the other hard.
it makes them hard. I think Ben thinks that he can only protect Callum if Callum wants to be protected, and Callum doesn't, and so that's where the breakdown of the relationship
and also
is.
It seems like Ben's like saying, oh, it's just one more job and then it'll be over.
Yeah, it's
and
always one more job.
We always be one more thing, and there's that whole Callum police thing underlying it.
His
all
run's
as well.
getting better, isn't it? He this beginning of the week he said, "Oh, I'm improving my score."
Yeah, Ben's run's not very good though. When he tried to stop Phil driving into that car, it was awful. So he won't make it.
No one can run like Callum.
No,
he's got the skills.
We still yet to see his jogging.
Well, we saw it at the wedding day.
No, but like another one, a third
when he's
one.
actually in the tracksuit rather than the suit.
There was the Christmas trees, the Christmas lights, everything was set out.
Oh, it was very well framed,
very
wasn't
moody.
it? Yeah.
Because Callum actually was the first one to say, "I love you."
We know.
You. He says "you" weird, doesn't he, Callum?
Again, I don't notice that now.
For God's sake.
You notice these little triggers
it's
in
like
people.
YEW. You. I love you.
You.
Every time you see it now, you'll hear it. But
every time I see it, I hear it.
Yeah, but every time. But
maybe
he was the first one to say it, and
but Ben couldn't look at
say it
him.
back.
Well, Ben couldn't even look at him when he said it.
No, he said, don't say that.
Yeah, oh, you've done it now. You said something wrong. But it's the fact that Ben could not fix his eye contact on him after he said it, because he just
felt too bad, guilty.
Wait, I think he wanted to say it back. He was desperate to say it back, and he couldn't, and felt like he shouldn't. And then, as you say, then it was out on the square, and some truths were outed.
That scene when they're outside by the Christmas tree, it just reminded me, in my head, my strange visions, but it was like an owner with a puppy tying him to like a post and getting in the car and driving
away.
off. That's what it reminded me of. Callum's the puppy, obviously, and Ben's the evil owner. But that's what it reminded me of, like his little puppy face, and he was like, "Come on, Ben, we're the best thing ever." And Ben was like, "I have to say all these horrible things now.
Yeah.
The most horrible things I can say to
stop you from following me back to the car."
Yeah. Bad boy.
Tap him on the nose.
But they ended it, and he was left heartbroken in the square.
It was sad though when he said to him, "It's like I'm gonna ruin you. I'm just gonna." Not like that.
No.
I'm gonna make. Sadly not. But
Callum was like, "Oh,
yeah, damn it! I thought that love line would get it. Damn it!" But it was really sad. It was, and it really hurt Ben. He walked away, and it was like he was.
They both left heartbroken, didn't
they? I mean,
and the nation.
But this is Phil's revenge. Phil's revenge over Sharon. I mean, who's to blame for all this? Is Sharon to blame? Is Keanu to blame? Is Phil to blame ultimately, because he's the one making such a big song and dance and deal of it now, that he's adamant that he wants some revenge out of it.
But Phil did say to Ben, I can deal with this, and Ben took it upon himself to help his dad. So it's hard to pinpoint blame in this mess.
I feel like he feels that it's obligatory though that he has to help his dad out, because
almost it's his chance.
But he has to. Yeah, it's his. I mean, he's just got this. He's suddenly got this bond with his dad, this trust and this relationship that he's wanted his whole life. He's got it, and now his dad's asking him for help. He can't say no, can he? And this is what I mean. So is Phil to blame for this, or is for the the breakup of Ben and Callum, or is Sharon to blame ultimately, because she's the one who started the infidelity? I blame Louise. I'm surprised Louise hasn't made it about her.
She tried this week.
She did.
The table.
She did. When Phil was upset, and she said, "Oh, he's probably upset about Peggy, my baby." It's like, no, he's not. It's really sad though. That also, isn't it, that he doesn't seem that concerned about Peggy?
Yeah, well, this is his new concern, isn't it? His killing Sharon, strangling Sharon. He even stomped on her photo. It's really funny how Sharon hasn't noticed. Like he broke her laptop. She's like, "Oh, could you just buy me a new one?" I don't know how it fell on the floor, Phil. And then she came home and her photo was smashed on the floor, and he'd stepped in it, and she was like, "Oh, my face! What happened?" "Oh, it slipped." Yeah. And then when he hit her earlier, her phone went into the sink.
Yeah. And she said, "Oh, you have to buy me a brand new one if you've done that, you naughty boy." And he just kind of grunted and walked off. Like, "Yeah, right, all right."
It's like, come on, Sharon. This is, keep up, love.
It's always like a horror film, isn't it? It's like, the next person to get murdered is the one who had the dart in its head,
Bless her, but she's oblivious. She's happy living her pregnancy life.
I mean, I'm shocked that Sharon hasn't... Because Sharon's been so worried this whole time about Phil finding out. Phil has all of a sudden, like, just turned completely mumpy and grumpy after that last week when he was in the best of moods and in high spirits, and literally in like a minute he just suddenly turned and to become what he's now become. And Sharon doesn't seem to have clicked that, hang on, maybe Phil has worked it out now.
Yeah, well, she's living in her oblivious life. She thinks she's got it all. Mel's dead. Lisa's not going to talk.
I suppose she's kind of relaxed.
Done.
Yeah, I suppose she's kind of relaxed now. She's kind of sat back and thought, it's ended.
Waiting for Christmas.
Yeah, having a great Mitchell Christmas.
I do wonder what Lisa's like last piece in this storyline is, because she's had that thing last week where she was going to tell them, and now she's not going to tell anyone. But then it kind of feels like, well, what's left for Lisa? Because she's there for a bit longer. If she's going to have any more involvement in this,
Lisa is still there. To be honest with you, it's
she
really
seems
strange.
She must have another piece left to do in this storyline, I imagine.
I would like to think that Phil might end up confiding in Lisa and saying, you don't have to lie to me. I know what's happened, and then that's how he finds out it's Keanu. But I mean, I think it'll be. I think he'll find out through other means. But it would have been nice if Lisa and Phil kind of could have teamed up and made it like they're like together.
Yeah,
they
she
worked
can shoot
out.
Keanu from the back.
Yeah, knock on his door when he's drunk.
Maybe Louise will kill Keanu when it all comes out, and Lisa will take the fall for her daughter, so Louise can be free, and she'll do the ultimate sacrifice as a mum. There you go.
I hope she doesn't do that.
That's my Christmas predictions. We'll find out next week how wrong I was.
Maybe baby Peggy will shoot Keanu.
You ate my dad, father. Right, so we're going to talk about Whitney and her stalker Hell now.
Yeah.
Didn't expect to see him back so soon, Leo, but he's back.
I did, and I'm glad he's back early because it shows that I think he wants to get forgiveness from Whitney for what he's done.
Yeah, it's always hard to read Leo, his face.
Yeah.
But like he turned up in E20 at the end of the week, and he kind of like gave her like puppy dog eyes-ish across the bar, like, I'm sorry. And here's do you know what I mean? He wasn't like menacing looking at her, but I guess when he stalks her, he's like looking at her with a hood up. So
no, he wasn't. He had his hood down. He was in plain sight.
No, not in E20. The day before that.
Oh, okay. Well, no, Whitney didn't spot him the first time round at the beginning of the week. That was Callum, wasn't it? I think Callum spotted him in the market.
Yes.
But then kind of did the scratched his eyes and then looked again and he was gone. Yeah.
Yeah, and because she's been making lots of friends this week because she had a little friendship with Ruby at the beginning of the week.
Although Ruby was being a bit of a bitch and basically saying, "Take in my skirt." No, I don't want to. I don't think I have the time. I've got something. Take in my skirt.
Can you? Okay, thanks.
Yeah. And Shrimpy was well mumpy this week.
Oh, I know.
Did you notice his face?
No.
So, look after the stall for me, Shrimpy.
Daggers.
Yeah. If looks could kill. I mean, Shrimpy would be the biggest serial killer of the square this week.
Well, he's probably fed up after Martin was rude to him last week. He thought, you know what?
Yeah, why do I keep looking after these stalls
I'm not
for you
look
lot?
after these stalls anymore.
You main characters.
You won't buy my teddy bears.
Yeah, they were special stock. All I wanted was a $5 for them.
Yeah, 20 actually.
Oh, well, 25ers.
£20 he wanted for
£20?
one teddy
Well,
bear.
actually, then I'm not surprised Martin didn't pay for it. That's extortionate, Shrimpy. Sort it out.
No.
Off the back of a truck they were. How dare he?
Well, yeah, because Ruby really likes Whitney's clothes, but not Kush's.
Yeah, I know, snob.
I know, she's so mean. Kush is meant to be her friend.
Wow.
Although so is Whitney too, but Kush's stuff does light up at the speck of a candle.
Yes.
Highly flammable from prom 2017.
Incredibly flammable.
Which that storyline never got brought up again. But yeah, they went back and they had like a little chat about Leo, and she confided in Ruby. And Whitney said that she kind of feels sorry for him.
Yeah.
In like a weird way.
That's why she won't press charges, because she feels as though, he's suffered enough. He's gone through quite a hardship because of his dad. And
then obviously later in the week, Chantel comes over and tells her about her wedding renewal and stuff. So they go out, and that's when Leo...
Which I completely forgot about.
Did you?
Yeah, I completely forgot that was happening.
Oh, New Year's. That's when it happens, everyone.
Good time of year.
And that's when they go to 20. He's bought her a thing. And that's when... I really love Chantel when she's like all strong and like... Because Billy's like trying to throw him out, and he's not doing a very good job, saying he's not allowed to throw someone out.
That's rubbish. I've worked in a pub. If you don't want to take someone's patronage, then you literally can say to them, "I will not serve you," and that's the end of it.
Also, Ruby owns the place, so Whitney should have been like, Ruby, you know Leo I was telling you about? He's
Oh, yeah.
Ruby will come in and slap him.
Oh, God, Ruby would be down there
Let me
shining
put my dress on.
Yeah, that you tailored for me.
Maybe write down. But no, he's still like following her, and she spots him because she does report him to the police after Gray like convinces her because he wants to fire him.
Well, I was going to say, quite selfish reasons by Gray.
That's
it's like,
Gray.
Yeah, our firm doesn't like him very much ever since we heard about these things that have been going on. So we want an excuse to fire him.
And it was funny because Gray did that thing again because he did that last week with Callum where he says, a man shouldn't treat a woman like this. And he said it in front of Chantel, and Chantel kind of looked at him like...
She swallowed hard, didn't she?
Yeah, like, what? But yeah, he's still obviously following her, and it looks like maybe Dottie might be involved because she like scared Whitney by putting her arm on her, and so maybe she's going to get involved in this Leo thing, hopefully.
Oh, you reckon
Well, she's got to do something, hasn't she, Dottie? All she does is walk into a room, say something sarcastic, and then walk out again.
She's a bit of a spare part, isn't she?
Yeah.
Dot was on this week as well. With a hot water bottle. She's obviously not fixed that. Even though she now owns her property and she was going to get the heating sorted out, clearly
can't afford it now.
Nothing's been sorted. She can afford it. She's got Dr. Leg money burning her pocket. She's just waiting to be spent. And all she can do is hold a hot water bottle. Get your heating sorted out, Dot. Come on now.
While we're talking about Dot, I found that was such a missed opportunity when Dot started talking about Nick and how she didn't want Martin to be like Nick. But Dottie had left the room just before that started. I was like...
Well, yeah, we were talking about that because you said that Dottie stands up to her dad. But I was like, well, no, she knows what her dad was like. But we remembered that scene when Dottie was asking for work from Phil a couple of weeks ago. And he said...
Phil or Martin, they said it to.
I'm sure it's Phil. Because it was when she was going out with Bex and
they said you're wrong and just like your dad.
Yeah.
But
you
she
know nothing about my dad.
Yeah. So it would have been nice if she was in the room when Dot said that about Nick, so we could have at least had her
acknowledge
reaction or something. But yeah, it seems really strange.
It's funny they kind of because like we were all kind of expecting there to be a scene where Dot would talk about Nick to Dottie. You know, kind of open up Dottie then to a story perhaps.
Or what she remembers of her dad, or how that's traumatized her, how he manipulated her when she was young, and you know, because he manipulated her into killing Dot, so like it must have some sort of psychological. You'd think, but no, she just walked out of the room before Dot said it, so it felt a bit wasted to me.
As you said, she said her one liner and left.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, we've got Leo stalking Hal, and he has been reported now, so
which is probably going to wind Leo up because Leo obviously wanted to do this calmly and kind of
put her in a boot.
No, slap her in the public.
It'll probably wind him up again and show more of his bad side.
Exactly.
Again, I guess.
I think he'll feel like that. He'll feel like again he'll revert back to feeling like he's being punished, like how his dad had been punished by Whitney because Whitney had reported him, and you know. So I feel like what Whitney's done by being pushed as well by Gray isn't possibly the right thing. I think she should have just kept well enough alone and just eventually I think he would have
I don't know.
stopped.
She should have reported him. I think that was the best thing to do.
Well,
but I wonder maybe if Leo's mum will come over and see Whitney and like speak to her about him. Maybe that'd be
she don't
nice.
want anything to do with it.
She's
in a pea-stained dress still.
I like his mum. She's cool.
Oh yeah, she's amazing.
Welcome her back.
Yeah, she's a great character, but I just don't think she wants much to do with forgiving her son.
No one does. No one wants anything to do with Leo.
I feel sorry for Leo in a weird
twisted,
way. Yeah.
Puppy dog way. Right, so we're going to go on to our game of the week and then we'll finish up our roundup. So we are here to play a game of Slater Family Values.
Oh, lovely.
An old classic for everyone, just like the Slaters.
Yes, they are of a heritage.
And nearly 20 years they've been in the show.
They still can't find anywhere to live.
So for anyone who doesn't know listening, Slater Family Values is where you have to link up two characters that I say in 6 steps. So like 6 degrees of separation. So you can link them by relationship or job or storyline, but something that relates two characters together, because the whole world revolves around 6 degrees of separation. So does Walford.
Walford's no exception to this rule.
No. So you have 60 seconds to link up the lovely NHS worker Sonia Fowler.
Queen of the NHS.
That's right. Founder of the NHS.
Founder of the Biro. The Biro air tube.
To the total slag that is Cat Slater. Okay, so you have 60 seconds and your time begins now.
I'm feeling quite confident about this. Sonia Fowler was married to Martin Fowler.
Yes.
Martin Fowler obviously was married quite famously to is with Stacey Fowler, but for how long we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Stacey Fowler is very well missed by Gene Slater.
Right.
Gene Slater really wants some attention. Gene Slater's been getting that attention from Kush Kasimi.
Yes, lucky her.
And Kush Kasimi is dating Kat Slater.
Is that enough steps?
Sonia, Martin.
Are you missing one?
Nope. Sonia, Martin, Jean, Kat. No. Sonia, Martin, Stacey, Jean, Kush, Kat. 6 steps.
Okay, fine. You did that in 49 seconds.
You're welcome. Now I thought that was quite easy for you. You normally like to be a bit left field, like putting Chapman and Riley or something. or say if you can fit this person in the middle, you can get an extra bonus point.
That's for the listeners, that is.
Alright, so what's the listeners have to throw in then, in the middle, if they want to join in?
Denise
Fox?
Yep.
Okay, so they need to connect Sonia Fowler with Kat Slater with Denise Fox thrown in the middle.
Mm-hmm. For a bonus point.
Mm-hmm. And how can they get in touch with letting you know their steps?
Don't know, but I want to say my steps first.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't care about everyone else.
Wow. Don't worry, listeners. This will be a solo show
Well,
soon.
a different way to do it is Sonia's daughter is Bex.
Mm-hmm.
Bex's best friend is Louise.
Well,
Yeah.
best friend.
Louise is dating Keanu.
Has Bex actually visited Louise yet for her baby?
What, to meet Peggy? Probably not.
No, they haven't, have they?
At the time of recording, no.
They just don't give a damn about each other.
Keanu's brother is married to Tiff. Tiff's mum is Bianca. Bianca's best friend is Kat. Very different.
I mean, I just stuck to the Slaters.
Well, it's Slater family values, so...
Like a mould to a tile.
Exactly. That's how you do it. That's how they do it.
They do, yeah. That's how they're staying in the rented accommodation.
Well, there you go. You beat Slater family values, and let's see if the listeners can add in Denise Fox to get a bonus point.
Get in touch on Twitter or comment below if you're listening on YouTube. We always like to see your links.
There you go. So that was Slater's family values. So let's go on to Martin, because we spoke about him earlier with the Dot Nick situation, but there's a Winter Wonderland he wanted to take Arthur to.
I've got my tickets. Got yours?
No.
I've heard it's a bit of a washout.
I'm going to the Hollyoaks one this week.
Are you? I might pop on to the Weatherfield one, actually.
Yeah. What about the Holby City one?
Oh, no, I don't think that's so good. Well, they're sharing it with the Casualty lot, so it's, anything shared is never going to be hard.
Yeah, the week of Wonderlands on Winter Wonderlands on TV this week.
Just nuts.
And we had lovely Martin and Sonia moments, which are very rare, but they have such a history together. It's nice when we get them together like that. Because they can reminisce about our favourite characters.
I mean, they have such a history, Sonia and Martin. Like, since they were like 15, 14, they've been off and on in relationships. So the history they have between them, it's just ripe for plucking, them talking and reminiscing and thinking about the past. And, you can bring in, as you say, some old characters that, tickle your brain over the Christmas time.
Yeah, I enjoy Pauline mention. That's good.
What would she think of them now? She'd hate every minute. That's what she would have thought.
But would she hate Stacey more? That's the question.
Oh God, yeah. Would she hate anyone for her Martin? Martin was her precious. It was her last ditch attempt to make everything all right, wasn't it?
A good child. Didn't ever work for her. But we had like an interesting development where Martin leans in to kiss Sonia, bisexual Sonia.
She?
I know. I was so happy. Again, I was really happy. I'm always pleased when the characters turn away from Martin, like Ruby did the other week. And then they announce later on that they actually might still love Martin, Sonia says. And she said it to Tina. And when I saw like the next scene was Tina and Sonia, I thought, are we going to pick up the Tina and Sonia relationship again? But no.
No.
She likes mine.
She does like Martin. But although she rejected Martin's kiss, she then confides in Tina and says, actually, I kind of wanted it, but it didn't really feel right. Yeah. Yeah, but if Martin leant over and gave you a kiss after he won you a teddy on the test of strength...
I kind of wanted it.
You kind of wanted it? But you don't want to be second best, just like Sonia, you see. Because Sonia kind of thinks that Martin's only thinking about himself now, because he does this big, long talk and lecture about how he doesn't feel like he's walked on anymore, and he's not like a pushover. He's not a doormat, and he's the power that this is giving him is exactly what he wants now. This is how he wants to be.
I mean, obviously we have that lie where he said to Stacey he'd slept with Sonia.
Yeah.
Now we have Sonia actually falling in love with him. So when Stacey comes back, are they going to be like together? And she's going to be like, "Oh, so you cheated on?" And Sonia will be like, "No, we got together after you broke up." And then it will come out the truth, and then they'll break up again.
But Stacey has no right to have a go at Martin if him and Sonia do end up back together again, because Stacey's moved on.
Oh yeah, of course.
Stacey's got that guy she found at the school gate
with his own house.
Yeah, so really Stacey can't come in and start tromping around going, "Oh, Martin, what are you doing with that tramp?" There's no reason for her to say that. They've moved on. They've gone in their different directions, and that's what Stacey wanted, and that's what Martin's done. So
I mean, would you like to see Martin and Sonia like
no
back again, or
sadly not? No. I like that Sonia and Martin have a friendship, but we're kind of going back to a story of about a year ago when Sonia thought that Martin loved her again, and she started setting up.
She rented a cottage,
and it took Bex to tell her. But this is the thing. This is what's really upset me. Bex has had a really hard time. She's had practically a breakdown, and she needs to be. Yeah, and she needs to be built back up again. She's lost her guitar. She can't use her creative side anymore to let out her feelings.
She lost Shaquille. She fancied Kush and walked into a shower with him. She ran away. She took an overdose.
She over exerted herself in doing her exams. Took caffeine pills. Lots and lots of things happened, and all these little dominoes caused one big effect to then have her have this absolute, this suicide attempt. And yet Sonia and Martin just seem to not care about her. And I think really I'd much rather that they kind of made the Sonia and Martin story more about fixing Bex.
Yeah, you get a little family unit.
Yeah, and sorting them
as friends.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree, because the Bex situations, we just listed off those, quite a few storylines we listed off there for Bex. But when you think of Bex this year, you don't really think of any storylines. Like, they're very 2 episodes here, 2 episodes there, 2 episodes and done.
But they're few and far between.
Yeah, and it's such a shame, because all those subjects we just mentioned in that little joke, like, they are actually quite serious, decent storylines.
Oh, absolutely. And
they're just not given any payoff.
Well, no one seems to care. Like, Stuart really was concerned over Bex.
He didn't care anymore,
he's moved on. Yeah, he's moved on to Rainie.
Got Rainie in our fridge.
And exactly. And Martin don't seem to care. And it's just, I feel just a bit sorry for Bex, really, because again, she's just kind of this character and kind of is lingering in the background and nothing.
Louise don't care.
Of course, Louise doesn't care. I don't think Louise really cares about baby Peggy. I think she's grateful for this week that she's not had Peggy around her. She's like, oh, great, I can do what I want for a week while Peggy's in intensive care at hospital. So Sonia and Martin, in this idealistic world, yes, they could probably work out together, but they've already shown that they're not very good together. They're quite destructive.
Yeah, they've tried a lot.
And they're better as friends. And so I think Sonia is living in this dream world, and Martin, I think, is just getting kicks from just kind of knowing that women are falling off him and kind of getting hot on it.
Yeah, they're all going, aren't they? But it was nice that Tina was like supportive, and I like Tina and Sonia's like friendship, like, because they ended not on the best terms. But it's nice that they can confide in each other as well. I quite like those two. It's
nice. It's nice that they're kind of harking back to the past when they're trying to find conversations for characters to have with one another. So last week, Sharon and Ian were having chats in the cafe and reminiscing on old times. So it's nice that they're doing that. But yeah, just keep them as friends. Don't make them a relationship. No. And anyway, Martin's the new Nick Cotton. Dot said obviously. So let's not, you don't want to be with the new Nick Cotton.
He'll be killing off Dot next week.
Yeah.
Getting that money.
Fixing her food. Yeah, exactly, getting the million. Do you reckon that's the big job that Tubbs has got sorted out?
What, kill off Dot?
Snuff Dot.
It's quite a big job because no one can seem to do it.
No one never can.
But he's got a big dangerous job with Tubbs, and Tubbs was like, "Are you sure this is the big one?" But no, Martin's up for it. He's going.
He's up for the big one from
big
Tubbs.
Job is. But I'm there to call if you want me. So we're going to talk about the Slaters now, and the house sale by Janine Butcher got a mention. That excited me.
Yeah.
It's just a shame at the situation that her name was mentioned by
the Panesar brothers.
Yes.
And we now know that we're pronouncing their name correctly.
Until we're told we're not.
But that's all they on the show. They call them the Panesar brothers.
That's right. So we're EastEnd. We're going for it.
Yeah, we're doing it 100%. We're sticking to what they're saying. So Panesar.
Yes, and Jags was there, of course, eating popcorn this week, I think.
I don't know. I just turn off. He's just a blur to me on the screen. To be perfectly honest with you,
I didn't even like Vinny this week. Normally, I love Vinny.
Yeah, Vinny was a bit slimy and a bit
rubbish.
Wasn't he? He was a bit narky.
Yeah, I hate these characters, and the fact that they've bought the Pat Butcher house, the iconic house. They don't deserve to own that house.
No, they don't.
What's Janine doing?
With Janine's. Well, that's true. What's happened to... See, I was more interested in...
sell it?
That's exactly it. I was more interested in knowing, well, the background information of what's happening to Janine right now, that she needs the money to sell... in order to sell the house.
Yeah, because didn't she leave and she had like $1 million or something, didn't she? I think she left with a lot of money.
Yeah.
Last time we saw her, but yeah, why is she selling out? What's going on?
So I'm more curious about Janine's situation off the square. They should do a spin-off.
Maybe Ricky's asked her for a bit of cash, or Diane, or the other sister who we can't remember her name, the older one,
the older sister. Oh yeah, the one who was looking after Janine.
Who's never in it.
Yeah.
Maybe one of them is a bit financially struggles, so Janine's like, all right.
If it's going to be anyone, it'd be Diane, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But then Diane and Janine weren't particularly, very close.
Their family.
Yeah,
what Pat would have wanted.
Yeah, but it would have been. But I don't think Janine would have cared. I think she would have cared if it was.
Well, we don't know what's going on, do we?
No, we don't. That's what I mean, and that's
it's much more interesting.
A far more interesting story because we're talking about that more than the actual story that's happened.
I did enjoy the Slater bits, and I love that Kat's getting, these breadcrumbs of scenes that she's getting, and she keeps reminding me that actually Kat's a really fun, good character when she's on screen. It's just the fact that this is such like a meh story of selling the house and upping the rent, and they're going to chuck them out, and now they've like locked themselves in the house and things.
Yeah, they've barricaded themselves in, which is such a silly plan, and they're planning to live on gravy granules and Christmas pudding for the next God knows how long, and it just seems like such a... It's the Christmas story. There's always one Christmas story which they put in there just as a bit of...
Yeah, the poor family.
Yeah, kind of light relief, but at the same time, kind of contrasting this difficult Christmas to everyone else having a what looks like on the surface going to be a much better Christmas, but probably won't be either.
And I found it strange how obviously Mo knew about this and she kept it secret, and we had like one or two jokes where they kicked Mo and said she was silly or fool, but we don't actually know, like, why did she not tell them? Like, could they not explore Big Mo a bit? Like, she used to be a proper character, but they've glazed over the fact that she didn't tell anyone, and that was just
I guess that she didn't tell anyone because she thought that if she ignored it, it would go away. That's kind of that is a character trait of Mo, isn't it? Really,
I know it would be nice to have at least seen them ask her. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, she didn't. All she did is get a kick on the leg and you silly old fool.
Well, everyone kept having a go at her, didn't they?
Yeah.
Even Jean, like when Kush walked into the room with Jean, and he said, "Do you mind if I interrupt?" And she said, "The fact that it's you, it's infinitely better, yeah. Infinitely better." So I feel a bit sorry for Mo that she's kind of been outcasted by the Slater family.
Poor old woman. And obviously the other half of this storyline was the Jean situation and the Daniel situation.
Yeah.
That video finally came to light about the football match or horse racing, not sure.
It was a football match that Kush and
Kat had
gone to. Yeah.
I'm going to look back and see if they actually did go to that. I wonder if it was mentioned briefly, like in one sentence somewhere.
I don't think it was. I doubt it very much.
That's not very good planning.
No, but we did say that there'll be something on that video that's being missed, and you did say it was the radio, so you were right.
Lovely old Kush did it.
Yep. He certainly did.
And he even saw Daniel and confronted him, and
so Daniel's back. Yeah. So I'm so pleased about that.
And he sort of said, he explained to Kush why he did what he did, because he didn't want to hurt Jean more than he had to, I suppose.
Well, that's pretty much sums it up. He felt like he's dying and he can't put someone through the pain of watching someone deteriorate and die. But I think Daniel got it all wrong, because I think Jean needs that kind of companionship and that relatability, because she's almost in a very similar boat at the moment. She feels so weak and tired, and it's the chemo, and she's worried that it's the cancer is actually still killing her. And I think if she still had Daniel and the friend, it would just be such a, they could go through this experience together and see the highs and the lows. I think Daniel made a really bad decision there. I
also found this week was like the first week where I actually felt that Jean was seriously ill. Like the rest of the time it's been like they're acting like she's got the flu or something. Like they've not really been, but this week you could really see that she was acting quite frail and ill. So that was not nice, but that was good how they portrayed that.
She was really
the best one.
Yeah, really reflective, and you're seeing her that way and really being reflective. I thought it was really sweet. I loved the line she said actually this week when she said, "We never get to smile, we never get to have moments of happiness," and I thought that was really A real sweet line, actually. But I want Daniel to come back and make Jean happy, but then ultimately he's probably going to kill Jean again, isn't it? It's probably going to destroy her when Daniel does. So what he's done is an awful thing.
He'll probably leave them. He'll die and leave her money, and then she'll buy the house back off the brothers, and then that'll be the end of them.
Oh, yeah, but then
It'll be enough to pay the rent because they're increasing the rent even after Kat tried to use her boobs to lower the rent.
Yeah, she showed her teeth and cleavage, as Linda poetically put it.
It never fails, but it failed this time.
Nope.
Can't be turned. Oh, Karat, what's that all about?
You insinuating he's gay?
Don't know. Insinuating something.
Well, it was insinuating an interesting story for it.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because she mentioned cancer, and that was what touched his heart
was the
a little
turning
bit,
point,
because obviously their mum is dying of cancer too. So he has got a heart.
Well, not really, because he's still up to the rent. Because he's still
he's got half a heart.
Well, he's still thinking business money. He's like, well, we've got to find somewhere for us to live.
Yeah, they've got to split between 3.
Yeah, but they're living with their mum, so why do they suddenly need to move in on the square? I know they need to be close to Ash and
stupid.
Some kind of convoluted reason, but no.
When did they arrive? October, November?
Can't remember.
Trying to work out when the contracts were. Next October, possibly.
With the year contract.
October-ish, wasn't it, when they kidnapped Lola?
Yeah, no, it was September, wasn't it?
Okay,
yeah.
Not long.
Yeah, 3 months down, 9 to go.
Right, that was the roundup complete.
I think we have time for a poll, and this time last year.
Yes, very popular.
And I'm not one to gossip.
That's right. So we'll see you in about 7 seconds.
You know me, I ain't one to gossip.
So it's the end of the show, and this is not the end of the content, because this is where we look back at past stories from yesteryears. We also look at birthdays and deaths. We read out your comments that you've sent to us on our Twitter, Instagram and Facebook page and Facebook group, and we find out who'd won the week in our poll. So to start the ball rolling, Ben, put on your time travel shoes, get on your rainbow coloured cap like that he wore in Back to the Future, and step into your DeLorean and tell me something that happened in the past. I can't think of anything else to say.
No. One birthday, 17th of December 1939, Aunt Sal.
Aunt Sal. I was only thinking of Aunt Sal. Obvious reasons, because I did a video this week, but Aunt Sal's in it, and I was thinking, we haven't seen Aunt Sal in ages.
She was the last seen at Ronnie Roxley's wedding and then funeral.
Yes.
One after the other.
One after the other, quite soon.
But we haven't seen her since, so maybe she'll come over for Christmas. That would be interesting. She'll have a few words to say to Sharon.
Oh, she'll have a few snide comments, I'm sure.
And we've got one death, which was the 16th of December 2005, which was Nana Moon.
Oh, yes. She died at Christmas, didn't she? Whilst the Santa Claus was dancing.
That's right. One more time, Alfie. Then she died. So the episode that I didn't do the Nana Moon death episode, you'll be thankful to hear. I did the 16th of December 1999.
Hang on, is this a clip that they could see on our Twitter feed if they wanted to?
Tamsin Alfie has seen it.
As has commented. Lucy Benjamin.
Yeah, Lucy Benjamin loves it. Someone who worked behind the scenes as well, so she's got photographs of them all in Amsterdam. Very interesting. I mean, I do wonder, this is an episode where they filmed in Amsterdam, a whole group, about 10 characters. It was like a stag and hen do for Barry and Natalie. This was the heady days of EastEnders, wasn't it? Yeah, so, but I did think when I watched it, I bet they had a great old time when they went filming. Yeah, I bet. They had a good couple of days. Yeah, it was a really good episode. We have the boys and the girls. So the episode's kind of split in two, and then at the end, both the boys, the stag and the hen, do team up in the same club by accident. But the boys are just going around, and Robbie wants to get a spliff from somewhere. He does. And he goes to this really posh restaurant and gets all confused, and he gets a hot chocolate instead of a spliff, and it's this weird. How do you mix that up? I don't know. It's this weird thing, and Steve Owen takes him to the right place to get what he wants, and then he's just mess for the rest of the time. And the girls are going to Anne Frank's museum, very cultural, doing little boat trips, and they then start drinking, where it all goes downhill. And the women are given challenges to do through the night, and Mel's challenges to kiss 6 men from 6 different countries in one night. That seems doable in Amsterdam. And Mel gets more and more drunk as the night goes on. And if you do watch the video, her drunk dancing is quite something to behold. And she is at the moment with Ian in the storyline, but Steve's on the trip. Right, yes, it's just before the New Year's the wedding. Yes. And her and Steve had bunked up before in Brighton in a previous episode. So they're going around the place in 1999, aren't they?
I mean,
all around the world.
This is when the license fee didn't matter. This is when you just throw money at EastEnders.
And they obviously end up kissing each other, and he says, what about Ian? You've got a great bloke at home. She says, Ian, doesn't matter if we're on holiday anyway. So Mel's right on it.
What happens in Amsterdam stays in Amsterdam.
What happens in Brighton stays in Brighton.
Basically, anywhere outside of Walford stays outside of Walford.
Yeah, Mel's on it.
Yeah.
And Natalie's mum, it ends with Natalie's mum who's talking to Barry, and she says to him, you don't have to marry her. You can wait for someone who's truly decent enough for you. And Natalie overhears.
Oh,
I know. I've not noticed her mum as a character before, but she was quite interesting. She was a bit of a drunk, loudmouth lass woman. But obviously there's a history between Natalie and her mum.
That's what I was about to say. I remember there was a history between them two, but I don't remember much more than that.
But it was really nice seeing, obviously Lisa, but also Mel, being fun, and she had all these friends around her, and it was so different to obviously what the Mel was when
isolated
she came back.
and evil and ice queen.
Yeah, it's really funny to see. But Lisa was having a whale of a time because she had a disposable camera.
Oh God, disposable cameras. No, disposable cameras just remind me of weddings when they used to have one in every table, and then at the end of the night they basically just have loads of blurred pictures of people's underwear and so forth.
Throughout the episode, they just kept showing a face-on shot of Lisa going cheese and then taking a photo all the time.
Did they show a still of what she was taking a photograph of?
A few of them they did, group
Excellent,
photos.
Excellent.
But that was the episode. We can see it all round up in less than 2 minutes on our Twitter or Facebook group.
And I'll give you the links to those at the end of the programme. So that's who won that year, or that week.
Drunk Mel.
Drunk Mel. What more can you ask for? But who won this week? So as we always put a poll out on our Twitter, our Instagram and our Facebook, we collect all the results together and then make one ultimate score for Ben then to guess who had won the week. The 4 different stories this week were Mitchell's Jacked In.
Yeah, that was a good one. The best one, the biggest one.
It was the biggest one. Stuart's Christmas Undertaking.
No, that's silly.
Jean Juggles Trouble.
That was good.
And Bailey's Nativity.
No, that was the silliest.
Okay, so which one do you think won the week?
Mitchell's, obviously.
They did, with half the vote, 50% of the vote.
Is that it?
Together.
Oh.
All together, 50% of the vote.
Thought it'd be higher.
In second place was Stuart's Christmas Undertaking with 19%.
Really? Second?
Bailey's Nativity was third with 16%,
sake.
and Jean Juggles Trouble at 15%.
That's stupid.
So the most heartfelt episode. And they got the least amount of votes.
Bailey's Nativity comes third.
Global warming. Inclusive play. And there was
I'm going to take the vote away from the people soon.
You're going to
I don't agree with it.
Ben's vote.
Dictatorship here.
A few comments as we read out from our Twitter. First of all, about Phil from @Gina Raquel on Twitter said, I love Ben and Callum. Phil and Ben have the best scenes and the most complex relationship.
That's true. They're good.
At Wax Perfect said, not very manly behaviour from Phil beating someone who is tied up, and he even got someone else to do it.
I know, we hide those 2 thugs really quickly.
The goons, yeah.
They're the same ones that offed Luke Browning, do you think? Ben's last lover.
Oh yeah, when Phil's got his teeth. Yeah, it reminds me of that episode. I've referenced The Simpsons already tonight, but the Simpsons episode when Milhouse loses his teeth in the ice hockey match.
Marge keeps hold of them.
She's making a point, and Milhouse knocks on the door. Can I have my teeth back? And she just looks and closes her fist. Kieran on Facebook said, Phil's a lot of things, but he's not a killer. I don't know why they're teasing this.
Yeah, it's such an empty tease, that duff.
An empty duff. Skylar Jordan on Twitter said about Honey, I really don't see her back with Billy. Honestly, she ought to be back with Jack. There's always been a spark between them.
Oh yeah, they did that thing 2 years ago. They were teasing an affair with Jack and Honey, weren't they? They kept sort of hinting at it back in the days when Ingrid was around. It was about around that time.
That's right.
They kept teasing those two.
Yeah, and they've got that friendship, haven't they? Between I'm surprised they haven't thought about Honey and Jack. But
keep it as a friendship though. It's nice.
Yeah,
I like characters who stay friends sometimes. It's much better.
Much better. Ali on Facebook says, hello Ali, by the way, a new member on our Facebook group. Ali has said on Ballum, I hope Ben does realise his loyalties and future are with Callum and Lexi and not Phil, but Ben still wants his dad's approval.
Yeah, been there. Move on, Ben.
You've been there?
No, Ben's been there with Phil lots of times.
Oh, I see.
Time to move on and open your horizons.
Sophie on Facebook said, I'm worried for Whitney, I'm heartbroken about Callum, and I'm laughing at Phil.
Oh, good.
That's
all the emotions in one go.
Nicely summed up, I thought. That was a nice little end. As I say, you can contact us.
The podcast could have been 10 seconds long.
We should have just made that the podcast. Started off the theme tune and just said, worried for Whitney, heartbroken for Callum, laughing at Phil. Thanks for listening. So you can contact us in many, many methods and forms. You can find us on Twitter at EastEnders Week. You can find us on Instagram at EastEnders Weekly Podcast. You can join our Facebook group. It's a really great and lively group. Just go to Facebook and search EastEnders Weekly Podcast and click to join. You can find our YouTube channel where we upload new videos every week, including a spoiler cast, which we release in the new year, probably be every Tuesday. But at the moment, they're just coming out thick and fast.
I think they're all done now until the new year. So.
Okay. But we are releasing another new video coming out on Boxing Day.
It's a brand new series.
Absolutely. And there's another video after that on New Year's Day.
Ooh.
Yes. So there's a video uploaded recently as well where I react to the 2007 DVD gate of Max Branning and Stacey getting discovered.
And remember to listen to us next week because we've got a big announcement next week.
Oh, absolutely. So you can find us on YouTube by searching EastEnders Weekly Podcast. And you can also email us, eastendersweekly@gmail.com. We do have a big announcement next week on the Christmas episode.
Send in your guesses and see how disappointed you'll be.
Wow.
Well, because they'll be like
building
people will
that
be like, oh, an interview with Letitia Dean. It's not an interview to Letitia Dean.
Well, that's spoiled that one, hasn't it? But yeah, listen in for that.
Announcement.
There is an announcement, a big announcement next week. And we're still holding out for some people to send in some audio clips to wish us a happy 100th episode.
Yeah, we've got a few.
We have got a few, and we'd love a lot more. If you fancy just sending us about a 30-second audio clip, no longer if you can, and we're going to scatter them in our 100th episode, just to wish us well. We like well wishers on this show. So thank you for listening, as always. It's always great to have your company, and we'll see you next week.
We will. Goodbye.